Yi Sun-sin, the admiral who saved Korea with 13 ships. The sea narrowed before him at Myeongnyang on 26 October 1597. 13 Korean warships waited in a violent strait, while a Japanese fleet many times larger gathered beyond the water. The current was strong. The Korean sailors knew that one mistake could destroy them. Yi Sun-sin had almost nothing left. His navy had been shattered, his rank had been taken away, and his own government had once ordered his execution. Now the same government had returned him to command. The famous story said that 13 Korean ships faced 133 Japanese ships, and somehow won. That was true in its central fact, but the legend often hid the more remarkable truth. Yi had not won because of a magical fleet. His famous turtle ships were not even present at Myeongnyang, and the Japanese force was larger than the simple numbers usually given, although historians still debate exactly how many ships entered the battle. What made the victory extraordinary was something harder to see: preparation, discipline, geography, and a commander who understood that a small force could become powerful if the enemy was forced to fight on the wrong ground. But how had one man reached this moment after his own government had tried to destroy him? In the 16th century, Korea was ruled by the Joseon dynasty, while Japan was being united under Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Hideyoshi dreamed of conquering Korea and using it as a road toward Ming China. In 1592, Japanese armies crossed the sea and invaded the peninsula. Korean forces collapsed quickly on land, and the capital fell. But the sea was different. Yi Sun-sin had been born in 1545 into a modest Yangban family in Seoul. He entered military service relatively late and passed the military examination in 1576. He was strict, careful, and difficult to satisfy. Those qualities sometimes made enemies, but they also made him unusually good at preparation. When he received command of the Lefji Cheola fleet in 1591, the invasion had not yet begun. Yi believed war was coming. He strengthened defenses, trained sailors, gathered supplies, and prepared ships. Among them were the famous turtle ships, covered fighting vessels designed to resist boarding and carry powerful guns. Yet one of the most common images of Yi's story was misleading. The turtle ship was not the secret weapon that won Myeongnyang. None survived for that battle. The deeper weapon had been preparation. And that mattered because Yi understood something simple. A navy did not begin winning when the battle started. It began winning months earlier. When the Japanese invasion came in 1592, Yi attacked instead of waiting. At Hansan Island, he used Korea's coastal waters and carefully controlled formations to destroy or capture much of a larger Japanese force. His victories protected Korea's southern coast and prevented Japanese forces from freely using the Western Sea. Then politics intervened. Yi's success created enemies. In 1597, after refusing an order that he believed had been based on false intelligence, he was arrested, stripped of command, and sentenced to death. The sentence was reduced, but the admiral who had protected Korea was now a common soldier under guard. What happened next made the humiliation almost unbearable. His replacement, Won-gyun, took command of the fleet and suffered a disastrous defeat. Hundreds of Korean ships were lost or destroyed. Suddenly, the government needed Yi again. When he returned, he found almost nothing. Only a small number of warships remained. The commonly accepted figure at Myeongnyang was 13. Before the battle, Yi had reported that he still had 12, and another ship later joined the force. He faced a Japanese fleet that vastly outnumbered him, so Yi chose the battlefield. Myeongnyang Strait was narrow, dangerous, and ruled by powerful currents. Instead of meeting the Japanese fleet in open water, he allowed its ships to enter the confined channel, where their numbers became a weakness. The Japanese could not easily surround 13 ships inside a narrow passage. Yi's cannon struck from a distance. The Korean ships held their position. Then the tide changed. The water itself became part of the battle. Japanese ships struggled to maneuver, while the Korean fleet used the changing current to its advantage. At least 30 Japanese ships were destroyed or badly damaged, according to different historical estimates, while no Korean warship was lost. Yi later wrote in his war diary that on a narrow mountain path, one man could terrify 1,000. That sentence revealed his entire method. He had not made 13 ships equal to hundreds. He had made hundreds unable to use their full strength. The victory stopped the Japanese advance by sea and preserved Korea's ability to rebuild its navy. Yet the price of Yi's greatness was never small. He endured imprisonment, political attacks, demotion, grief, and the constant burden of knowing that failure could cost thousands of lives. And there was one final cost. In 1598, the Japanese began withdrawing after Hideyoshi's death. Yi joined Korean and Chinese forces in the final naval campaign at Myeongnyang. During the battle, a bullet struck him. He was dying, yet he feared that if his sailors learned of his death, their courage might break. So his final order was to keep the news secret and continue the battle. The battle ended in victory. Yi did not live to hear the silence that followed. His 7-volume war diary survived him. Written almost daily from 1592 to 1598, it recorded battles, weather, geography, personal feelings, and even the lives of ordinary people. It became one of the most remarkable surviving records ever written by a military commander. That was perhaps the greatest correction to the legend. Yi Sun-sin was not simply a fearless hero who defeated impossible numbers. He was a planner who prepared before others believed preparation was necessary. He was a commander who understood geography better than his enemies. He was also a deeply human man who could be stubborn, politically vulnerable, exhausted, and afraid of failure. The 13 ships mattered, but the man who knew what to do with them mattered more. Without Yi, Korea's southern sea might have remained open to Japanese movement and supply. His victories protected vital coastal regions and helped prevent Japan from controlling the western approaches to the peninsula. Centuries later, his name remained attached not merely to victory, but to disciplined resistance against overwhelming odds. Perhaps that was why the story survived. Not because 13 ships were stronger than hundreds, because, for one extraordinary moment, 13 ships were enough. And that left one question history could never completely answer. Was Yi Sun-sin's greatest achievement his genius at sea, or his ability to keep fighting after his own government had already decided he was finished?